What's up? It's your girl, Iberia, and welcome to another episode of Believers After Dark on Saved and the City TV. Oh my God, y'all, we are back, and I'm so excited to have these amazing women at the table with me. This week's topic is unforgivable. And in a world and society, it seems like every movie that I see, it's all about, in the end, forgiveness, forgiving in the end. But is there something in your life or something that may have happened to you or happened to someone that you know that you feel like, that's unforgivable. Nah, I can't forgive that. And so we just want to have an open dialogue and a discussion surrounding that. And maybe you think at the top of the show, you may feel like there's something that you can't forgive. And maybe at the end of the show, you may have second thoughts, or maybe you be like, oh no. I'm for sure that this is where I stand, and this is kind of how I'm gonna roll out with it, and that's all right with us. And so if you watched Believers episode in the past, you know I have a question for you. Do you have your stone? Because we all have our own different opinions, our different viewpoints. We stand where we stand on particular topics. And when it comes down to it, the Bible says, ye without sin cast the first stone. And all of us have sinned and come short of the glory. Nobody is perfect in this room. And so this stone is a reminder of our imperfection so that we can begin open dialogue and have real communication and hopefully find some solution in the end. So without further ado, let's talk to the ladies that's sitting at the table. How y'all feeling?
Pretty awesome.
Y'all good? Y'all here?
Yes.
I'm so glad to have y'all here. Let's kind of go around the table. Let's start here with the beautiful Linetta Davis. So we got Linetta, Patrice, and JoLanda. Linetta, why don't you start by telling the people a little bit about yourself if they've never met you or have never heard of you before? School us.
All
Linetta
right, here
Davis.
we go. I am Linetta Davis. I am an educator.
Yes.
I am a playwright. I am a performer. And I'm a mom.
Oh, and that.
Let's see, I've written some plays that are performed here in the city. A Black Woman's Burden, Her Journey from Pain to Freedom, which was about overcoming childhood sexual abuse.
Real.
My second play is going to be, will be premiered or will be performed in October, and it's a tragedy. I love writing tragedies. You know, somebody got to die. That's pretty cool. And so that is The End of Hope. That'll be out in October. And then the plan is to do my romantic comedy at the end of the year, which is I Used to Love Him. So I'm an educator here in the city and been doing that for quite a while. And I'm a poet and a performer. And a mom to this little dope 11-year-old.
I absolutely love it. I love you. Linetta, welcome to Believers After Dark.
you.
Next to you. Come on, Miss Patrice.
Hello.
Just Patrice.
I am Patrice Green, also known as Just Patrice. I'm a radio personality
Blow
on
Radio.
blowradio.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty cool. I've been in entertainment for some years. And
We met there.
We did. I transitioned from an entertainer performer to being a talk show host about 6 years ago. And I really, really enjoy it very much.
And you're good at it.
Yes.
Thank you, man.
So
I'm happy
glad.
to be here.
Yeah, happy to have your voice in the discussion. And then our resident counselor. She was like, why you give me this title? Cuz come on and talk consulting. Yes.
Yes, so my name is JoLanda Rogers. So excited to be here again.
Yes.
I am the founder and owner of T.A.L.K Consulting. T.A.L.K stands for Tell Your Story, Accept Your Truth, Learn Your Identity, and Know Your Strength. I'm excited tonight because it's late and I'm sleepy. But I am sitting at the table with some dope ladies.
Yeah, seriously.
So I'm ready to get into it.
Yes, I felt like that was me. I was like, yes, I'm dope. I just felt like that was coming. Like I felt that. I threw my stone. Where'd it come?
You throwing stones?
Better get it.
I just need to get that off. Just real quick.
Gotta do it initially.
Y'all.
Gotta do it initially.
Oh my goodness. So today's topic, as much as we're smiling and feeling the love in here, is about unforgiveness. And I mean, it's a real thing for many people. And so I just want to smack it right on the table, right in the middle there. And have any of you ever been in a place, or are you currently in a space where someone has done something to you or to someone that you love and you've deemed it unforgivable? Or what does forgiveness look like for you? So you can kind of go either way.
I don't know. That's changed so much over the years.
Yeah, I think we evolved.
I think it has. Like I used to believe that. Oh no, not never.
Yeah.
Now you did this, and that's just it. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that there are some things that you establish an understanding for.
Yeah.
And then forgiveness comes in, but it doesn't mean that you have to. How do you say? Co-sign or stamp what they've done, or re-engage them in any capacity. You know what I mean? Forgiveness for me is for me, so that I don't have to walk around with this stuff on me constantly. And it just changes how I engage you. That's just for me.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah.
So to build on what you said about forgiveness being about you, I'm just going to give you a story to highlight that.
Yeah.
So my mother married my stepfather after I told her that he had molested me. And many years later, after so much, well, you were at my place, so that was 90% of my story.
Yeah. And I didn't know that in the beginning and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it took me another level.
And so that's pretty dope too, because we're here laughing and smiling. It's not something, that I'm carrying with me. And so that's the powerful piece about forgiveness. It's not necessarily for the person who did the harm, but it's for me, because now I'm not carrying that around. And to bring that full circle, on my stepfather's dying bed, my mother called me, and I didn't want to, but my aunt was like, go ahead, keep the party going, so to speak. And he was transitioning, but he was afraid. And I prayed for him.
Wow.
And I would never have been able to do that if I was harboring something. And I would not be able to smile, because I would still have this thing that I'm carrying on my shoulder. And so forgiveness it's for you, but I also think it's a process. I don't necessarily believe that there is something that cannot be forgiven, but I get infuriated when people, like, something just happened. Oh, I forgive them. No, I'm not really buying that.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. When we saw the one guy shoot up the black church and kill those 9 people.
Right.
Like, they caught the dude, and then, like, next week one of the kids was like, well, he killed my mom and I forgive him. I'm just like, nah, fam. I don't believe that, because I also
it almost feels rehearsed. Like, this is what we have to say.
That's what you have to say.
Yeah.
And with the little boy with the corner store Carolyn, they asked him, do you forgive her? And he was like, no. But then the next interview, he said, yeah, I forgive her, because, like you said, it's something that's expected. But it is a process. If I truly forgive you, I have to, in a way, forgive myself first.
Wow.
Especially when it's trauma, especially when it's something like sexual abuse. I got to know that I didn't have anything to do with that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think you probably can totally jump in
that's
on
why
that. Right. I was feeling, because I want to go, but I was like, I'm going to go somewhere else.
What is happening? So I didn't get any of this, precursor information before we sat down at this table.
Everything. It's so much.
Oh my God, that is so good. When you talk about the process, forgiveness really is not the issue. The issue is that we want to jump to forgiveness without going through the process.
Exactly.
Which makes forgiveness impossible.
I like that I word. Yes.
Yeah. Our culture has kind of, especially when we talk about the church,
has
kind of put us in a place where we just want to jump to the end of it.
Yeah.
And forgiveness happens in layers.
Yeah.
So even if you have that first moment on the altar where you're like, you know what, I'm ready to release this, I want to let it go, I forgive this person, as a survivor, there are certain things that I still, like, when you talk about having to forgive yourself before you can fully forgive that person. Yeah. And what was so powerful to me last week, I really struggled because one of my abusers antagonized my truth.
Whoa.
And so that brought that wound back to me. And one of my sisters said, give him back that pain. And live in your forgiveness.
Wow. Wow.
And so when you talk about it being for us, it's also about not trapping that pain in our soul because we're holding on to it.
Right. And then a part of the process for me was a lot of anger. It was a lot of sadness. It was a lot of anger. It was a lot of, to be honest, promiscuity in regards to that. Me finding myself, me fighting, me cussing people out. Like, it took a lot of that. So then when it came back up, I was able to deal with it honestly. Like, I'm not wearing a mask. You don't get to And a lot of times with most trauma, you don't get to re-traumatize me. You don't get to re-victimize me by making me say, I forgive this person. No, I'm angry. I'm angry.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But now I just remember somebody that I won't forgive though.
Well,
bring it out.
Bring it out. Wait a minute.
Unforgivable.
Wow.
I've been sitting here. I've been thinking while we were talking about that. I'm like, okay, so
Because I'm thinking about it too.
Is there anybody that have done something to me that I can say, you know what? Nah, man. And the truth is, there are some people that I'm never gonna get with again. Like, I see you from over there though.
But does that mean just because you won't get with them though? Does that mean that you don't forgive them?
At this stage for me, that's what I'm sitting here going through. I'm like, is it? No, okay, I'm good with that. Is it? Okay, I'm good with that. So at this point, I don't believe that. And I can say I don't believe it because maybe something hasn't come up or maybe I'm not triggered by something. But right now, I'm pretty decent.
No, I get that.
I'm clean across the board. But it wasn't always that. It was not always that. And I mean, seriously, not always that. I have a friend, or I naturally still called her a friend. That we were friends in high school, and we were having a really good relationship with her. Like we taught each other all kind of really interesting adult things. You know what I'm saying? Cooking, how to manage this, hygiene, all type of things. She ended up marrying a guy that I was dating in college, and they were seeing each other behind my back, and it wasn't so much the idea of them being together that was the issue with me. It was the betrayal of friendship.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that triggered for me a deficit in female relationships and that's like 18, 19 maybe, until I was in my 30s.
Until I came along.
Indeed. You know what I mean? So
what's helped me to forgive over time and in different issues and things that I have encountered over the 40 years. 40.
Girl, you better
I'm new 40. I'm new 40. So every time I be
say it again. It's again 40. When you said there's a smile, see that E that lifts up your cheek. Yes.
Didn't you wake up 40 like?
I love it. Yes. No, I didn't. But tomorrow I'm gonna try that.
Okay.
And I think it might change my day a little bit. But anyway, so through my journey, what's helped me to get to that point of forgiveness is realizing, as much as I want to make it about that person, it's really not about them.
How?
It really is not them. I personally feel like I have one enemy, and the entity, negative forces, whatever you want to call it, may use different people and different things to potentially knock me off my square or knock me off my purpose, to distract me from my specific goal that I have in the earth.
Yeah.
But the person, I feel like, whether there's some brokenness there or whatever it is that they dealt with, it's that I'm dealing with, and not to get so deep, but I'm dealing with their spirits or the spirits that are attached to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it helps me to release when I say, you know what, it's not you. I know that kind of takes the ownership.
But sometimes it is, though. That's you, fam. Because
okay.
For me, what I just remember, the person who he gonna have to work on me. Like when I see her on site.
Like Miss Shirley
with the
on site. You know what on site means?
Yeah, on site. It means on site.
And thankfully, she doesn't live in the city anymore, so I'm not tempted. Yeah. But I have told people, because we worked in the same place, when you see me jump across the table and choke, and then I'm going to stop talking because one of your rules is to not use profanity.
Oh, yeah.
But this is what you did, though. Mm-hmm. So when my daughter was born, at the time she was born, I had no goodness in my life. Mm-hmm. This was my friend, and then things was just bad. Mm-hmm. And because she didn't like my husband and didn't want me to be with my husband, she called CPS on me.
Wow.
And fabricated this story, right? Now this is the
she fabricated the whole story.
She exaggerated.
It just hit me right.
Because now she remembers somebody she ain't forgiven either. Because it's the same. She know. Okay, and so historically, you doing a whole bunch of things. This child is my only good thing right now. Mm-hmm. Then historically, we know how social workers have come in and just because they have the power taking children away. I was having a full-on beloved moment.
Wow.
And I was like, you're not walking out of here with my baby. And so because you looked at my child, you held my child, and now, and when I challenged her on it, I didn't do that, but then you go and tell other people you did it. So you proud of what you did. So that's part of the process too. I'm gonna need you to own it. So one of the things that I teach my students, when we're
that's
dealing
true.
with
No, I
restorative
definitely
stuff,
believe in ownership.
you gotta own that.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Go what?
Yeah,
For me to start to forgive
because,
you.
Yeah, because
I
if you
don't
look me
know.
in my, I've not experienced nobody looking me in my face that I didn't do that to you. I've not had that issue.
Oh yeah.
Oh well,
You
I've
know what I'm
had that
saying?
issue.
So with me not having that issue, which I can say,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm good. I don't think that I would be able to have.
If they owned it in your face,
and if you didn't own it,
if you didn't own you in
like,
face,
I never did that to you, and then behind my,
you right. You
behind
know
my-
what?
Listen,
I think I might lose it too.
listen.
I don't know.
We're not okay. I'm not.
No, we're
I'm not
not
okay
okay.
in that. No.
Oh,
See,
go ahead.
that kind of, it worries me a little bit, because people that offend us, one of the things about offense is that they don't always own it.
That's true.
So what if they don't own it? Are you going to be locked in by what they refuse to own in your gut? Now, I said,
I don't wanna be.
right, you don't want to be, which makes forgiveness necessary.
Yeah.
Like, I legit had somebody tell me, I didn't do that to you. When during the process of doing what they did to me, they asked me, why did you make me do that to you? And my husband said something to me. He said, "Now
That's why I be feeling like it don't be.
Yeah,
I know
he
it be the
said,
people, but it
yeah.
be something
I-
else.
absolutely,
That's not well. You're not well.
absolutely." He was like, there's a point where you don't understand what you did, but when you come into the knowledge of what you did and what happened, and you still
That's
don't
what I'm
acknowledge
talking
See, I'm gonna be unwell in
That's
that
what I'm
space.
talking about.
I'm gonna be unwell in that space,
But
and I'm
being
liable.
unwell, that's a
I'm
choice.
liable.
Okay, but
I'm
look.
liable.
Can you forgive somebody and still like want to hurt them on sight though?
I love it. I love it.
Or do you feed?
I die a little.
Sometimes I have to feed my soul with what I'm imagining doing to you. I don't do it though. But I just feel like I need that.
But you see, they still have power.
No, she ain't got no power, though.
No, they do, because she's
How
still
so?
there. She's still able to access space in your mind.
Yeah, I'm with you with that, JoLanda.
So in
Yeah,
living
yeah.
out the forgiveness, this is me, and walking out my forgiveness, you can't own no space in my heart, in my spirit, in my mind. When I see you, you no longer have occupancy here.
Yeah, and I've been to that place of what I feel is like complete.
I feel you though.
Complete forgiveness. I mean, that might still be a little bit of walk in the process.
Absolutely.
Because when I'm getting to complete, like I really don't even think about that individual in that act or what may have occurred.
Yeah.
Now there are some things, but I've never been in something where someone's molested my child. I don't know if I would have that same.
See, and
You
that's
know,
what I'm saying.
or
So I
killed
got, so
my
I have-
mama.
I've not experienced certain things
Yeah.
that I think in my heart of hearts that I think that, God just know best. Seriously, because I work really hard to walk around, better every day.
Yeah.
And so that, you don't not to carry these things with me. So I've been fortunate to not experience something that I would have to say, you know what? I'm about to go out. We going out in a blaze over here. I'm just because of certain things that happen. Like when you said that someone takes up occupancy. Like if I'm never thinking of you, I'm never happening, and you happen to cross my path. You know what I'm saying? And so now you done drummed up something that I thought was gone. That you know what I mean? Because I don't feel like if I'm good, you own or whatever. I'm in my own space. But then you happen to come into my space and reignite that. Then I don't see that being ownership.
Yeah.
But you trying to get back in, not to reevaluate this moment all over again.
And see, I might need a little therapy session on this part right here, because I don't necessarily feel like this person is taking up my space. And I'm just gonna say it, I don't care about your life though. I'm not going to do anything to take
the life.
I'm not going to do anything to take the life.
Yeah.
And I agree. Sometimes I enjoy the thought.
That's real.
But and that's what I'm trying to be. But if someone says, "Hey, you ever heard of?" and right away I'd be like, But then that's the end of it. I'm not in my day-to-day in my day-to-day interactions with my daughter. I feel like this person is taking up space. If I'm like, oh, okay, I got to make sure I do this so nobody calls CPS. Like to me, that feels like that person is taking up space. But for me to just say, okay, I moved on from this instance, but I don't care about your life.
Yeah. And I
don't know
love
if that's
that
forgiveness or
insight.
not.
Yeah. And I don't think you have to get to a place where you necessarily care about their life
that's a
per
good
se.
question. What
But
is
that's
forgiveness?
why I mentioned forgiveness happens in layers.
Oh,
So
yeah,
in no
definitely.
way would I say that you've unforgiven, but the fervor that I feel, the
Yeah.
fire
Oh,
that's
yeah.
still there,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it says that things it's still a little bit alive.
Well, that's she just said. I just one person. I just can't. I may forget. She said that.
Very
So
real.
very real.
Absolutely.
Because
And if they don't come back, I'm just saying, give her back that pain.
Wow.
Same thing that was said
What
to
does
me.
that mean?
What
You
does
know
that
what?
mean?
Let's take a
Yeah.
quick break, and when we come back, JoLanda, I want you to tell us what does that mean? Because, like, seriously,
Yeah.
it's getting hot in here, and when you all walk out, I want people to not go and set nobody ablaze.
Well,
Hey, I'm rolling with her if she do.
And we'll be right back after this.
Happens in our house, stays in our house.
But what do you do when trauma happens in the house?
This is an invitation to finally talk. Tell your story, accept your truth, learn your identity, and know your strength. Talk presents a pocket message series offering resources to process, heal, and provide support for survivors. The series provides heart-stirring commentary on the reality of childhood sexual abuse with insight from Dr. Ramona Woods, Dr. Mark Ongley, author Victoria McAfee, Sarah Reek, LPC, and Austin Reese of Lotus Legal. This series includes 3 messages that can be purchased for $10 each, or the 3-part series for $25. Purchase the series and schedule a talk presentation for your school, daycare, church, or organization today at talkconsulting.net.
And we are back. You are locked live to Believers After Dark right here on Saved in the City TV. Wow. If you've been following us from the beginning of the show, I know that you guys are unpacking everything that we're saying. How are y'all feeling out there? Is there anybody in your life that you're just like, oh, no, I'm not forgiving them? Make sure you comment below, and we will be happy to respond to your comments. And if you have anything specifically that you want to talk about, even behind closed doors, feel free to email us at savedinthecitymke@gmail.com, and we're happy to take your request. Back to the conversation at hand. You was about to school us, JoLanda.
I'm ready.
Wait, bring us back. What was we at? Now my brain, I lost it.
Ooh, my sister
Yes.
was talking about that on site.
Oh, on
That
site is on
on-site
site
reality.
Yeah.
And just really the different layers.
I think you
of
said
healing
how, yeah.
and how. And what I was meaning by give her back that pain, meaning you've already experienced the violation from her, the offense from her, the wound from her. At this stage, when something comes about that looks like her, that seems like her, when you see her, when it crosses your mind, because that will happen, but it should cross your mind and not stay on your mind.
Oh,
So
yeah.
any moment of occupancy, any moment of emotion, because it's still a little sting there. And what forgiveness does is it literally removes that sting, which is it's
Completely.
not about
Yeah.
her at all. It's about how dope you are.
to the
and
point
fact
with your
that,
father,
your
where you could
dopeness,
stand there and smile and pray for him.
that part.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that's complete.
But
Yeah.
you know why I think the difference is, though?
Because you want
To
to beat
be-
her up.
No, not. I mean, I don't want to.
I think we become
if she was choking on something, I have to
You
really think
just
about.
being-
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
I
Well,
appreciate
I'm
it.
being honest.
I mean, because
I think sometimes that process for forgiveness is tied to accountability. Now, one of the things that I've pondered, because I actually forgave my stepfather before I forgave my mom, is because I don't feel like he owed me anything. There was no accountability. But as my mother, you are supposed to look out for me. Now, this person who, her, we've been friends since freshman year basketball. And we know everything about each other. I was struggling to come up with a name for my daughter, and she reminded me, remember when we were 16 and we said if whoever had a girl first, we would name it with a Z? So all of those, so you owe me a conversation. And then if you do something like that and you take my best thing away from me, like, to me, that is much more
I get
difficult
Yeah.
because I'm struggling to understand why you did what you did, and not understand how that, like, you hurt me to the core.
Yeah.
And so that's the piece. He was not accountable to me. You are accountable to me. We stayed up every night and we talked about our dreams together, and then you would do this to me.
So I'm gonna say something that's really not fair.
Okay.
You said something. You owe me.
That's
The
where it hit me.
messed
I want
up
to say something
thing
about that.
about sin and about offense is that people can't pay for what they cause. Meaning the only person that can legit pay that debt in your heart is the Father. No matter what type of apology, real talk, no matter what type of apology she give you, no matter how humble she come, Joker, you nearly ruined my life. I'm sorry. The wound that you caused, you can't pay for that. You ain't got enough to pay for that.
Interesting. Yeah.
See, here's my thought on that.
And I do have another thought too.
I don't disagree with that part, but before you get to that, there is a stone.
Come on,
you understand what I'm saying?
I already threw my stone.
There is a stone there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she would be the stone. You get what I'm saying? And that acknowledgement gives her permission to move around that stone and move past that stone.
Okay.
Because you're right. The only person that's going to make that right for her is that relationship, that healing. We know. But in order to get there, you don't even need to move past her. Because
I don't think that is, it has to be that way. That you have to, I think we want it to be that way. But it doesn't have to be that way to have that complete closure and that release. I think we become loyal to our expectation of what we wanted people to be, and maybe she just never was that. I know she had certain, and sometimes because people can be amazing imitators.
Indeed.
Well, let me come through with the word real quick, which is my conflict now.
Okay, come on.
So
with
the
it.
Most High says, if you come to give me an offering, and your brother has aught against you, you better put that offering down. You don't give me that offering. You go and fix that.
Take it to
you
him.
go and fix that with your brother before you come back to me.
Okay.
And so I'm not saying she owes me anything in that sense, but you are my sister. You are my brother. So you don't get to, I don't know what she doing. I don't care, which I've established that. But to me, that is a penance. That is a payment. You don't get to go boldly before the Most High God and you try to have my child taken away from me. So there is if there is not an accountability to me, there is definitely an accountability to the Most High because of what you did or what you potentially could have done.
And I agree with all of that. But in all of that, those issues are hers. Like they're all hers. If she go to the Father,
or don't.
if she, or does not, those are all hers. The thing and the only thing that's most important is the care of your heart. And what is crazy is that those emotional wounds, man, I'm telling you, somebody could knock you across your head and your face will heal, your soul will even heal. But when you've invested your life into another person the way you've shared and you have that tenure and that history, it creates this in us, that wound. However, I would refuse, and I have refused, to let them hold me bound. I'm sorry. You already did your dance.
That's
I
the
get
part
that.
I'm tripping on now. Like, I don't necessarily feel that I'm bound, but
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get the feeling of that, whatever. And like I said, I've never been in a situation so I can only speak from what I see from this side of it because I've never had that as an experience.
Yeah.
It's always been, you know what? I know I was messed up. Oh, okay, now we good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I know that was bogus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even a situation, it wasn't what you thought. Some clarity, just enough for me to get where I needed to go.
Yes.
I think it's always gonna, for me, that again, because I had a whole funeral for my expectations. Period. Like for people, places, things, because, and what I realize is that people are men. They're going to fail, and even my mama can get to a point where she could say that she actually has said, and I'm like, oh, Like, no, like I completely trust you. Or like I'm the most vulnerable around you, And so I've had many different relationships. And when I realized that really on Christ the solid rock I stand, on all other ground is sinking sand. At any moment, you can be sinking sand. And so, I mean, but and you got to be careful with that, because then you can also be paranoid and not develop real friendships, always waiting for the sand to sink, And so it's an interesting place to be in. But when people do what people do, I'm really not surprised. I might be hurt in the moment, but then I release that loyalty to what my expectation was, because I really don't know you. Apparently, if you could do that, I really never knew you, and you never knew me.
And that's valid. And I think to a degree there may be some forgiveness in there. Because what I'm saying is, it has not hindered me from being a friend to any other woman.
True. True. And uplifting
and
other women.
It hasn't stopped me from being a mother. It hasn't stopped me from taking risk. It hasn't. So that's the part that I was struggling with in regards to her, in a sense, taking up residence. You know what I mean? Okay. So it hasn't hindered me in any process. And I guess that's the part that I have to think about, is if I still want to bust her in her mouth, is that...
I think you do.
Is that...
I think that's clear. I'm going to take my rock back before you go.
No.
Keep it stone. Keep it stone.
No, but just that... that if so I guess that's the piece, and that's the part to the growth area is I can move on with my life. I can see you in a crowded space and not do anything, but that hurt is still there.
No,
and I guess
that's what I was going to say, and I love that you said that. If I can offer another perspective, that it's not just forgiveness. The forgiveness may be there, but does it still sting? And so then that's not an issue of forgiving, it's an issue of healing. And just healing more. Not that we haven't healed. Like you said, you're able to go on and be dope and do these amazing things, but that part that still stings, that's not an issue of forgiveness or unforgiveness. It's just the issue of healing more.
Oh, wow.
Well, how long do that take?
Well, good question. Patrice, give us some final thoughts. We're at the 30-minute mark. So, how long?
How long does that take? And I think that we need to learn to be diligent more so about not carrying that stuff, to be more diligent in saying, I don't want that. You know what I mean? And I don't think we do that enough. But as we get older, we learn to, we assume that we learn to say, I don't want that. I don't want to carry that. It's heavy. It makes me dark. It hinders me. I want to have relationships. I want to be happy. And I think that we should focus more on saying, maybe it's just my saying, better every day. I focus on that, better every day, and so I look at myself and I compare myself to yesterday, and what can I do to not be that and not having that burden. And when you see me, the legacy that I leave when I walk away from you should be light. So that's just my take on that.
Yeah, no, I love it. Linetta, final thoughts.
Well, so I thought I was about to come in here and be the queen of forgiveness. But, little did I know.
We might got to do a part.
Did I know? But I think what I'm not going to leave advice per se. I will say that I do believe forgiveness lightens our load, but there is still work to do. I think there's still work to do within ourselves in regards to healing that hurt. And I know that from the perspective of sexual abuse or domestic violence or whatever. But that friendship piece, I think that's a whole nother, that sisterhood, when that betrayal, that hurts. Yeah. And so maybe that's the work that I have to do, and maybe I challenge your listeners or your watchers to do. Yeah. Like, okay, I forgive you, but now I have to go back and I got to deal with that hurt, and I got to see why it hurt so bad, and the steps I need to do to surrender that hurt so that it can be healed.
No, I love that. Final thoughts, JoLanda.
I'm just going to co-sign.
Yeah.
on exactly what she just said, because I think what we've come to the conclusion of, it's not an issue of forgiveness or unforgiveness. It's beyond that. It's just an issue of healing, which is what, small plug, shameless, talk is about. Tell your story, accept your truth, learn your identity, know your strength. Yeah. Sometimes we need a moment just to sit in the presence of somebody non-judgmental that's holding a stone, and say, look, I forgave this chick, but this mess still hurt.
Yeah.
It's real.
Walk me to healing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Walk me to- I
walk
like
me
that.
to healing. I love
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, how y'all feel? Y'all ready to forgive, or you still holding on to some heartache and some pain and some some failed expectations? Wherever you might be, know that God can meet you exactly where you are. He can be your comforter and your peace. At least that's what he's been for me. I can definitely speak for myself. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. If you have any additional thoughts, feel free to comment below. Again, send us emails at savedinthecity@mke. What? Saved in the City MK. Can't think about it. Saved in the City MKE @gmail.com, or visit our website at www.savedandthecityintl.com. Oh my God. Thank you again to Linetta Davis, Patrice Green, and JoLanda Rogers. Amazing women, being so transparent, sharing their truths, in hopes to be able to connect with you. So you see that you're not alone. We're all in this process. No one's bigger, better. We all in this together. So I hope that you feel a little bit better after today's episode. And if not, you're going to be all right. Better by and by. And until next week, you guys be encouraged. Bye.